Welcome back to Hobby Jogger Elite. My name is Connor, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite things when it comes to running. That is, of course, running shoes. Now, we all know that it is smart to have a couple pairs of running shoes on deck if you are somebody who is running multiple days a week, anywhere from, I would say, 5 days a week up to a full 7 days every day out of the week. It's just smart to sort of let one of your pairs of shoes rest, that midsole foam, to decompress, and use the other the next day so that you have a bit of a running shoe rotation. Now, when it comes to me, I'm not shy about buying the running shoes that I want to try out, because in the day of specialization, of some might argue over specialization, it seems like every running shoe brand is coming out with more and more different types of different iterations of shoes that are familiar and ones that are new and unfamiliar and exciting. So when a new pair comes out and I am intrigued to some extent, I'll give myself that grace, let myself buy it. People are out here buying boats, doing like car builds as hobbies, spending thousands of dollars regularly. And I'm just a guy who likes to look for discounted running shoes, try them out, and talk about them on the internet. So here we are. But the caveat with today's video is I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to think about myself through the filter of being a reasonable human being. If you look at my Strava, which you can find down in the description, and you look through my retired shoes, I've tried quite a few running shoes since I sort of picked up running seriously. Today, I'm gonna try to build the ultimate running shoe rotation. Now, if we're talking reasonable, this is what I limited myself to. 3 different pairs of normal training shoes and 1 shoe to race in. So 4 total shoes. You could probably use your race shoe as a training shoe, whether that comes to speed, quality sessions, workouts, maybe the long run. I let myself have 4 choices here. So 3 training shoes, 1 race shoe. Let's get into it. Now, the first sort of category, the area we're going to tackle, is the most common one, and that's your daily trainer. Now, your daily trainer is going to be what sort of eats up the bulk of your miles. This is going to be the type of shoe that you are wearing for the most part throughout your week of running. We like to say in running that around 80% of your miles are easy miles, the other 20% quality speed workouts, that kind of stuff. So this sort of 80% easy category is typically where you're going to find daily trainers. And I think a good daily trainer is a little bit versatile in the fact that it can do easy to steady, maybe even up to moderate speed and paces when you're feeling a little bit good on your easy days, your daily training days. But it should also be very accommodating, stable, supportive, cushioned when it comes to those recovery days, or maybe your legs are barking at you a little bit and you need to take it easy and slow things down a little bit. So my choice for the daily trainer, shoe 1 of 4, it's going to be the New Balance Fresh Foam X More V4. Now, this is the 4th version of this shoe. They really screwed it up when it came to the first 2 versions, but version 3, one of my favorite running shoes of all time. Version 4 has been exceptional through the first 350 miles that I have worn this exact pair for. I'm not going to get into a massive breakdown when it comes to the numbers of this shoe, but just know that it has 31 millimeters of stack height in the forefoot, 35 millimeters in the heel for a 4 millimeter drop, which is really nice. Stretches out your calf, your Achilles a little bit on those easy recovery days, but it is a bit of a boat of a shoe. It is about 10.5 ounces in a standard men's size 9. That's sort of the size that the industry uses as a standard when it lets you know the stack heights, the weights, that kind of stuff. It is a heavy shoe, but it doesn't feel quite that heavy on foot. And I think that's because of the awesome Fresh Foam X formulation from New Balance, which in my opinion probably makes the best daily trainers out there. Now, if you are able to, I would recommend, instead of getting the Fresh Foam 4, the Fresh Foam More V3. It's kind of tough to see this pair here as it is all black. This is turned into my lawn mowing shoe now. It is just so exceptionally comfortable. This shoe has just a tad bit less stack height, but for the most part, it is the same shoe. But when you can find it on sale, it is cheaper. In my opinion, it feels a little bit better. It's just a tad bit lighter, a tad bit lower to the ground. It isn't really low to the ground type of shoe here, and you're gonna find that to be probably a theme with my rotation here. But if you can find the Fresh Foam More V3, I encourage you to. It feels a little bit softer, but at the same time, a little bit more lively and not quite as massive boat-ish on your foot as the V4. So for my daily trainer, Fresh Foam More V3 or V4 from New Balance. So that's one shoe down, one shoe in your weekly running rotation. Now let's move on to the second shoe, those not so easy days, the days where you're turning the knob a little bit tighter, you're tightening those screws, you're working in some speed into your runs. And for that, I am going to recommend the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. Now, the Endorphin Speed 3, in my opinion, is the absolute best iteration of Saucony's Endorphin Speed history. The first Endorphin Speed was absolutely groundbreaking when it came to training shoes. It was one of the first shoes that really caught my eye as I was getting into running. I tried them out. I raced half marathons in them. I did every speed work you could imagine. I did 22-mile long runs for my first ever marathon buildup in them. They were my favorite pair of shoes, and it got better with the version 2, and I think it absolutely has peaked the version 3. It is still in and around the same weight, you know, working right there at about 8 ounces. It has an 8mm drop, going from 36mm in the heel down to 28 in the forefoot. Usually a little bit of a steeper drop is better for you on those speed days. And this is probably the most versatile shoe, one of the most versatile shoes I have ever used. I'd be comfortable running a marathon in this shoe, to be completely honest. I'm also comfortable doing 400-meter interval repeats at pretty quick paces. I'm comfortable doing my easy runs in this. I've done recovery runs in this. I think this is the perfect shoe to travel with if you're only able to take one shoe. In essence, this is a jack of all trades that I don't think is particularly lacking in any area. Usually when you have a jack of all trades, they're a master of none, but this shoe seems to be a jack of all trades and a master of all. Now, that said, Saucony knows that they have an absolute gem in this shoe, so it is very, very rarely, if ever, on sale. So what I would recommend to you in its place to follow a similar theme is the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2. I find the Endorphin Speed 2 and the Endorphin Speed 1 to be a little bit quicker than the Speed 3. The Speed 3 is a bit democratized. It's a bit more stable, it's a bit wider, a bit more accommodating, which is great for pretty much everybody, but I think when it comes to pure speed work, I find myself having a little bit easier of a time with the older speeds. And this pair of Speed 2 can be found on sale all over the place. I got this pair on Amazon for $60 as opposed to $160 that you would pay for the Endorphin Speed 3. And if you can get this good of a shoe for $60, there is absolutely no reason that you shouldn't. It is pretty much identical. It has a slightly lower stack height, but not to the point where it's all that noticeable. I think the Endorphin Speed 1 and 2 are some of the best shoes out there, and the Endorphin Speed 3 is just hard to be beat. But when it comes to paying that much less, go get the Endorphin Speed 2 if you need to for your very versatile speed shoe, the second shoe in our 4-shoe rotation. Now, the third shoe in our rotation, the final outright trainer out of our 4 shoes. It's going to be a bit of a tough sell for you if you're somebody who likes to pinch pennies and search for sales when it comes to your shoes. And that's going to be a shoe I recently talked about on this channel, one that I've put a decent amount of miles into very quickly, but not nearly as many as the Endorphin Speed 3, which I've put 500 miles into. The New Balance Fresh Foam More V4, 350 miles. The More V3, 600 miles. This shoe has the least amount of miles in it, but I am almost the most certain when it comes to this shoe that it is one of the best training shoes I've ever tried, and that's the Asics Super Blast. This shoe has been talked about a lot. It's all over the internet. It looks insane, and it is insane. This shoe, again, follows that theme of a lot of cushion and a lot of versatility when it comes to training. We've checked the boxes of easy runs, recovery runs, speed work, tempo runs, threshold work. With the speeds, this shoe is able to do almost just as much, but it comes in quite a different package and at a much higher price. Now this shoe is quote unquote on sale everywhere right now, but its sale price is still $200. So you're still gonna be shelling out an arm and a leg for this one. But this is one of the most fun shoes I have ever run in. And again, it seems to be really good at a lot of different things. This is, in my opinion, the sort of perfect long run shoe, especially if you're somebody who from time to time your long runs aren't including work at really fast paces. I don't know if this shoe is going to be exceptional at anything faster than your marathon pace. Trying to push this thing to your half marathon, your 10K pace, your 5K pace, probably not the best idea for extended periods of time. But if you're somebody who likes to go on easy long runs, steady long runs, moderate long runs, marathon pace long runs, this is going to be a shoe that's going to work for you. It's going to leave you feeling so incredibly fresh the next day, and it's just going to check a lot of different boxes when it comes to your training. Almost 46 millimeters of stack height in the heel, almost 36 in the forefoot for a 10 millimeter drop, and this is a tall shoe. It's a soft shoe, but it is a quick, versatile shoe that again is going to get a lot done for you. I think if you are somebody who runs marathons, trains for marathons and beyond, even ultra marathoners, especially road ultra marathoners, this is the perfect training shoe. This could be a race shoe for you. It's going to serve you well on recovery days. If you're a high mileage person and your recovery day is still 10 miles easy, this is going to be the perfect shoe for you. If you're someone who does midweek long runs and needs to save your legs for those long run workouts or other quality sessions, the perfect shoe for you. And it looks massive, but it's really not that heavy. This is only about 8.5 ounces at a men's size 9. The theme of my sort of running shoe rotation picks, my ultimate rotation, is versatility. Things that are going to get multiple jobs done depending on whatever the circumstance might be throughout the week, but they're each going to be really good at what they are specialized to do. So I would say the New Balance Fresh Foam More, perfect for your easy and recovery runs. Endorphin Speed, perfect for your speed work. This shoe, the perfect long run shoe. Our final pick, your Racer, the fourth shoe in our ultimate 4-shoe rotation. You may be able to guess this. It is the Nike Zoom X Alphafly version 1. Very tough to get right now. Very tough to find where these are on sale, but if you poke around a little bit, you'll be able to find them. I was lucky enough to get 2 pairs of these a few months before the Alphafly 2 came out. Got them both on discount. The other one is on ice, wrapped up in saran wrap, trying to preserve it for as long as possible before I bring it out. I have 70 miles on this pair of Alphaflys. I've PR'd in the 5K in this, PR'd in the marathon in this. That is how versatile of a race shoe this is. It isn't the lightest of all race shoes. For me, at a men's size 9.5, it comes in at just a tad bit lighter than 8 ounces. It's like 7.95 ounces. But boy, do you get so much in this, again, very big, very cushioned shoe. Barely legal according to the World Athletics standards. It is 39 millimeters of stack height in the heel, 35 millimeters in the forefoot for an odd 4 millimeter drop in a race shoe, which may scare some people when it comes to like calf strain or Achilles strain, but I personally, and the many times I've raced in this shoe at this point, and I really do only save it for race day, I've never experienced any issues, any injuries coming off of anything. And I just think it provides enough quick, punchy energy return for something as fast as a 5K race, and plenty of support and energy return over long, steady miles, whether you're running a long run or you're running a marathon. I've seen people run road ultras in this shoe. It just seems like it is able to do a whole lot for you. Now, again, this is probably the hardest shoe to find out of this whole entire rotation, and I cannot speak on the Alphafly version 2. I haven't heard the greatest things when compared to the Alphafly version 1 when it comes to the version 2. So if you can find a pair of V1s, I encourage you. The hype is real. It is a great, great shoe, and you need to go get it if you've been curious about it, because I don't know how much longer they will even be in circulation on the internet at all. But this would be my race shoe of choice. It was tough to pick between this and the Adios Pro 3. That would be a pretty close second for me when it comes to very versatile shoes from 5K all the way up to the marathon. But this one definitely edges it out for me. So that is my ultimate 4 running shoe rotation. We have the Fresh Foam More V4 from New Balance, the Endorphin Speed 3s from Saucony, Super Blasts from Asics, and the Alpha Flies from Nike. I didn't even try to pick a diverse group of brands there, and I coincidentally did. So this was a really fun exercise for me, and clearly, as a result of sort of taking a look at my chosen ultimate rotation, I value versatility, a lot of cushion. But I'm interested in what you would pick. If someone told you you can only run in 4 single shoes for your training and your racing, which 4 would you pick? Let me know down in the comments. I'll be curious to see what people's choices are. But beyond that, that is everything I have for my ultimate running shoe rotation. We'll catch up soon. Peace.